Get caught in a net with ANet. For your mind, body, and soul. Get caught in a net with ANet. It's your intellectual radio show. Here to inspire you and encourage you to be your very best. Get caught in a net with ANet.
You are now tuned in to Mind, Body, and Soul with ANet, where your hosts, Annette Harris, analyze intriguing life questions and concerns, such as, do Christians suffer from mental illness? Have you wondered why they act abnormal? Or you may ask, what is really going on in their minds? Do you need ANet? Well, keep listening for a biblical understanding of the psychology of the mind.
Hey guys, welcome to another wonderful segment. I want to play again. All right, we can do that now. All right, hey guys, it's a special segment on tonight. And you normally see me on Wednesday afternoons, but I had to do this wonderful topic, and I had to, with my guests, I had to make sure that we had the right timing and all of that. So here we are, Tuesday evening. I know you say, what is she doing? But you know what? This is going to be a hot topic on tonight, because this is something that we definitely need to venture into. You see, my beautiful friends, I don't even want to call them panelists. They're my friends. They're my girls. And they're going to talk with us tonight about this social media. I think it's kind of ironic that we're talking about social media, being on social media, but that's okay. Angie Mims is in the house. How are you doing this evening, sweetie?
I am doing well. Thank you so much.
You? I'm doing well. You look gorgeous as ever.
Thank you. Trying to reciprocate the same here on this show.
Okay, darling. And I have my big sister in the house. Demetra Williams-Pitts is here on tonight. Look, I gave the whole government name. How are you doing this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I mean, my girls are looking good. They got it going on. Come on. I love it. But hey, I'm actually glad, and I'm thanking you both again for consenting to join in this discussion with me on this evening, talking about the psychology behind social media. I know it's a lot to tackle, a lot to talk about. So we're going to try and jump in and discuss some of the things that we've already mentioned that we were going to discuss, the subtopics or layers, if you will, of this particular topic. Last week, was it Monday or Tuesday when the shutdown happened?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was last Tuesday.
Last Tuesday. Yeah. I thought it was kind of ironic. I thought about our topic because we already had this plan,
Right.
before that adventurous day.
Wasn't it?
I'm telling you. And it's so funny because some people were like, I didn't even know there was an outage. They didn't know until later. And then others were like, okay, I was rebooting everything I had thinking it was me, until somebody actually texted me and was like, are you getting messenger, inbox messages? And I'm like, as a matter of fact, I am not. Here.
Yes.
D, what happened with you last week? When did you discover that everything was down?
Sometime in the evening, I finally discovered it. It was one of those strange kind of days. Actually, I had to work at work, so I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention. One of the days
when they were getting their money's worth out of you, huh?
They can never get their money's worth, but
Say that. Why don't you say it? Yeah. Okay. Well, we got through it. It was not like it was. It was going to overwhelm us. But let's see here. I have a couple of different areas that we're going to focus on. I do want to encourage you guys, when you do come into the live feed, go ahead and click that share button. I see you, Apostle Sabrina. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming in. Click the share button, tag individuals in. Again, as I stated earlier, I'm normally on a Wednesday afternoon, so it's a little different time for My Body and Soul. But if you would make sure that when you come into this live feed, go ahead and click the share button. I have actually tagged both of my guests' pages, so you should be able to share it out as well. So let's see here. We're gonna jump in, guys. We're gonna jump in. I have, goodness gracious. Social media can create and or affect many different areas. And I guess we can probably start off, Angie, if you don't mind, maybe talking about the inadequacy, about your life or appearance through social media, while using social media, or as it relates to social media. Can you start us off with that?
I'll do the best that I can. And I do want to, before we dive into that, I do want to say thank you to the host and to her audience. ANet has a crystal clear voice. Her ability to take this whole psychological topic into an entirely different realm that I did not imagine has done really well. And so kudos to you for doing such a yeoman's job at just spreading gospel through the conduit of radio. So kudos to you. To my assignment. The inadequacies of social media, or that which comes about within people when they're comparing. I have witnessed firsthand some, I would say, people who really truly struggle with being truly addicted to social media, to the point where they are literally almost governing their lives after social media, from being able to assess other people's wedding pictures to event pictures to, of course, you now have the coined term Instagram model, to trying to do things that will ultimately conjure up more likes, more approval. And unfortunately, this has been somewhat of a very intense journey for a lot of people, to the point where they're out of touch with reality. They have certainly been impacted within their family dynamic. They have actually struggled inwardly when it comes to their self-esteem. They have truly taken social media to be their barometer or their rubric system, and gauge their success off of the interactions that they get on social media. It has been a very interesting sight to see.
Yeah. As you were talking, I was reminded of a post that I saw probably a while ago, or every once in a while you'll see this post. It's like, attention, social media or Facebook is not real life, and it's almost like you're trying to bring people back around to the fact that this is not real life.
Right.
And it's interesting. I kind of chuckle when I see something like that, but the reality is that's what some people actually think.
But you know what, Annette, I wouldn't even go as far as saying that it's not real life as much as it is them measuring their life's quality.
Well, yeah, I mean, that right. Okay. I mean, and I'm in agreement with you. Obviously I was saying it different, but no, I understand what you're saying. We do have to make things clear. But it's almost like, the game of life or Monopoly or something. Sometimes people are living a different kind of world. Come on, Demetra. I see it. Something popping up over there.
Yes. We've talked about this.
Yes, but I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, actually, social media is really an extension of who you are. Unfortunately, in a lot of cases, it demonstrates some of those things that you wish you could be.
Yeah.
So what we find a lot of times is we find that people are presenting themselves based off of their illusion of themselves. And we actually experience that in real life, because if you've ever been in a relationship, a friend of mine calls it the paint peeling effect. And so you get into a relationship and you think this person is the best thing since sliced bread, 3, 6, 8, 12 months, and they turn out to be, a straight up demon. Same kind of effect that happens on social media, with the difference being that this person is behind a screen, and the only time you really get to know who they actually are is if you have an interaction with them face to face, and not only face to face, but for a considerable amount of time, because once again, it's about time that brings about who that person really is. And so a lot of people out there are pretending to be celebrities. Some people are pretending, to be experts in some areas that they're not experts in, although they don't label themselves as advocates, which is a supporter of an expert, And so you have a whole lot of things going on, but it really is an extension of life that's magnified on social media, which is why a lot of times you can see where the person may slip up in one post versus another post, for the simple fact that they're not really their authentic selves.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know how we can come behind Dr. Pitts with that.
Well, of course you can.
Their authentic selves. I think I got stuck right there.
Oh.
And not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. And I think that sometimes we can hide behind social media, hide our authentic selves, if you will. I'm just going to present to you what I want you to see.
Correct.
Never mind, you're not going to see me when I get up in the morning.
No. I really don't want to, but that's okay. I'm being my authentic.
You know what? I just the other day, one of my Facebook friends, literally, she did a post. She said, "Good morning, y'all." And she had a bonnet on. It literally looked like she had just gotten up. And I said, wow, that took a lot of guts. You ain't gonna see me do that.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I think that people are doing. Wait, what'd you say, Dr. Pitts?
Oh, come on. Philosopher Mims. I'm sorry, Annette.
All kind of names here tonight. I love it though. But go ahead, Dave.
Go ahead.
Dr. Pitts, go ahead.
No, I'm saying, there's a difference in, you can be authentic, but I don't need to know everything. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where, balance comes in. We kind of, we don't have a balance when it comes to certain things. And so showing up as you just got out of bed and you haven't brushed your teeth and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah, okay, get your face together and all that kind of stuff. No, we don't need to see all of that. But as far as hating, that's the part that, we're talking about.
Right. Because you can be transparent.
Yeah.
You can be authentic. But like you said, there's only, and I'm just going to throw this in here. The way I was taught when I came along, my mom taught us, you don't go outside with rollers in your hair.
Honey.
You don't go outside with a bonnet on. And my mother was a beautician, hairstylist. She didn't play that. You don't go out. You're representing her.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go outside with pajamas on. And I'm sorry, I may be hurting folks. I don't know, but I'm just telling you how I was taught.
That's
so, right. I believe that I was still presenting my authentic self by making sure that I dress appropriately and, my hair is combed.
Uh-huh.
Your head was combed,
Well, we could unpack that though. Does authenticity always have to mean something that wouldn't necessarily put you in a more glamorous light? Because I think that you can still be your authentic self and still have some sort of perhaps class, perhaps some type of professionalism without being looked and perceived as, because you don't have on makeup, because you don't have on weave, now you're raw, now you're perceived as, a person after my own heart. And so this actually goes into the mindset of an actual individual. And so when people gravitate towards something that seems to go against what we all have been taught in regards to making sure that you leave your household and or present yourself in a respectable way, when we have something that is going against those traditions, well, of course it's going to garner some type of attention. And that's what people are on social media to do, to get some type of attention. And so if your mother and my mother and your mother and our grandmothers raised us where you groom yourself, you take care of yourself, it doesn't mean that your personality is less authentic.
Yes, correct.
That's it.
You just have a different rubric system of how you groom yourself from those who wish to expose themselves with their bonnets. And I'm not even saying you need to put on a full face of makeup, because there are a lot of our beautiful sisters who have beautiful, radiant skin. They don't, quote unquote, need makeup. But it doesn't mean just because you don't need makeup that you shouldn't comb your hair. It doesn't mean that your house should be in order when you go public. That's just mine.
There you go. And I'm gonna throw this in there, and you guys can jump on this if you like. But I'm gonna also add this: as African American people, Black women, I'm sorry, they're gonna look at you a different way than how you're coming out, how you're presenting yourself to the public. I'll never forget, and I learned this. I went to DePaul University, when I came out of high school. I was on the cheerleading team, the traveling team. They taught us that when you travel, when we go on the airplanes or wherever, you dress appropriately. You not dress up in Sunday clothes, but I'm just saying, you make sure you don't just throw on a t-shirt and jeans and go. I'm sorry, that's how they taught us. Mm-hmm. And to this day, because that was my younger years, to this day, when I get on an airplane, when I'm dressed, I don't just throw on casual stuff. And again, it's going to be how I present myself to the public, and what kind of response I'm going to get back depends upon how I present myself.
Right. And I like what Brandy just said. Brandy states they murdered Monique on social media when she told this truth. And so is Monique someone who I look up to and aspire to be? Absolutely not. However, this was the truth. Having gone to Atlanta several times and having traveled even to Miami just a little bit ago, there's I almost want to venture to say something demonic in the air, because you have no pride about yourself. Where is your pride? Is your pride rooted in what Satan has told you is good? To present yourself that is in a way, it doesn't show that you are proud of who you are. And I think that's what Monique was alluding to. And I think that, when you ask the pivotal question and how it affects us on social media when it comes to comparison and inadequacies, right? This is what we see. And so we have to, but then you have people who, in my opinion, overdo it. They ain't going nowhere. But for the sake of likes and for the sake of acceptance, they want to pose on social media, and they will do this time and time again for the acceptance and validation and affirmation. And so I'll say this and then I'm done. There are a lot of underlying issues there, which is why people do what they do.
Yep. Yeah. Ooh, wee. Now, why did you just open that up and then you just gonna run out the door,
Because I want to hear from Dr. Pitts too.
Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Pitts.
Well, I mean, just to kind of piggyback on what Angie was saying, one of the things that came to mind is, when we brought up the whole Monique situation, you need to look at the character of those people that are in the airport, that are dressing in that particular manner. A lot of times, and especially in psychology, you have to look at their childhood. You have to look at their background. They may not have been, raised with the same type of character that, we were raised with. So that's one thing. The other thing, you've got to look at the generation of those people. I mean, what generation did they come out of? And a lot of times what I see in some of the younger women is that they came out of that rebellious generation. I'm going to do what I want to do because that's what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And then you have this whole black thing, and ain't nothing wrong with the black thing because I'm black. But, you've got this whole black power thing, that says I can do whatever I want to do because I'm black and I'm free and I got enough money to get on this plane. Whereas I'm old enough to remember where your black behind wouldn't be able to get on the plane.
Come on, Reverend. See, say so.
Reverend, but I'm just saying. So what I'm saying is that, yes, Monique was right. However, you also need to look at who raised them. What is their environment? And so, yeah, I agree with her wholeheartedly, but at the same time, somewhere along the line, a number of us dropped the ball in raising some of them with the understanding that they need to present themselves a certain way just because they do have pride in themselves. But a lot of them don't have pride in themselves because they don't really know what pride in themselves mean. A lot of them look at is the fact that I've got enough money to get on this plane and go to Cancun. That's all they look at. But they're not looking at, number one, I'm not going to talk about how they got their money, but how they got their money has got to do with how they showed up to that airport.
True.
I got my money working a real job with those other people. You might have got your money, from PPP. You might have got your money from Mr. Sugarfoot.
Come on.
I don't know where you got your money. But see, your money is going to dictate how you look and how you act.
That's right.
Wow. Okay. Let me do this. Let me hop over. I'm sorry, I didn't cut you off, did I?
I'm done.
Okay. I'm gonna hop over to Facebook Live and see who we have here because I did not recognize people that came in. So thank you, thank you. I see you guys joining. I appreciate it.
Yeah, they're coming in.
I did mention Apostle Sabrina. We thank you. Brandy is here.
Hey,
Thank you, sis, for joining us. Let's see here. Who else? Who else? I think I saw Buddy Gill. Chris. Hey, Chris Base Nation is in the house. How are you? Good to have you, sir. He says, well, hello, ladies, Buddy Gill said. Celeste.
Hey, buddy.
Celeste Jackson, my friend. Thanks for joining. She said, I totally agree. Trust me, you want authentic me, not raw me. Uh-oh. See.
Yes.
You know, she's a serial entrepreneur, Celeste Jackson. So she knows what you're talking about. Brandy says, I admire a raw, unfiltered, good. What does that say? Good. Okay, I can't see. Where are my glasses at, yeah?
Mall and Facebook post.
Okay. You'll never see me make one. Well, you know what? I'm gonna call the devil a lie, but I'm gonna put up my eye aids because I can't see.
It's fine. She just says you'll never see me make one because the world will never recover.
There we go. Okay, I see it now. I got my eye aids now. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Okay, who else did I not call? Celeste says a lot of what the younger generation considers themselves doing at times is forcing you to accept them as they are. Ooh, there is a lot of sensitivity surrounding judgment today. Many view guidance as judgment. Oh God, I want to jump in. I want to jump with both feet into that.
Put both
okay.
in there.
Let me finish reading some of these other comments and recognize individuals who have come in. I think I saw Bobby Simpson. We appreciate you. Thanks for coming in. Chris says women of color are elegant. Why, thank you. The way you look and the way you handle yourself in the public eye speaks tremendous volumes. When you know better, you do better, or you should. I agree. Yeah, that's good stuff. All right. I am sticking a pin in your comments, Celeste. We're going to come back to that. But he says you cannot be selfish in your appearance or conduct. You do represent others as well as yourself. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. Buddy gunning for he gunning for some money tonight. I agree with Angie. Social media has exposed a lot of underlying issues. Good grief, he says. Yeah. A sugar father. Chris Bass is laughing at y'all. Brandy says the only God can judge me shield is impenetrable. Did I pronounce that right? Probably didn't. To any kind of progress, success, or self-improvement. That's deep. Kind of progress. Oh my goodness. All right, here we go. Okay. So let me go back up to Celeste's comment because I did want to touch that before we move further with our other layers. She says a lot of what the younger generation considers themselves doing at times is forcing you to accept them as they are. What do you guys think about that comment? Because there's so much you can unpack there. It's almost as if, from what she typed, they're throwing themselves out at you. This is me. This is who I am. Accept me or not. So it's like, there's no, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not repentant. What's the other word I'm looking for?
I don't know what exact word you're looking for, but they are not, in my opinion, truly seeking wisdom. I'm gonna let you finish your point. I want you to finish your point though. No,
I can't think of the word. It's almost like unapologetic about who they are and what they are presenting to you. So it's almost as if, I don't care if you don't accept what I'm giving you, I'm giving this to you. And that's how they're presenting themselves, more or less. And I'm not necessarily saying that that's wrong in all cases.
And it's not, but that's the rebellious part.
Right. I know that somebody is going to be upset, and so because your audience is quite refined and they're of the affluent genres, but I will say this: oftentimes we get into a climate of pointing the finger at the young people, right? I work in the educational system. I dare not act like I'm certified to speak with a certain level of endorsement. But what I will say is this: if in fact we are disappointed with the youth and their behaviors, where do you think the disconnect came from? Because, in my humble opinion, not all baby boomers, not all, but there's a good chunk of baby boomers who were so perhaps disenchanted with how their parents brought them up when they came to church, that when they came along and had their own children, they made it up in their minds, I'm not going to do it like how mama and big mama did it. And so when you take prayer out the school, and a good chunk of baby boomers who are more so obsessed with being their children's friends than they are parents, now you have a myriad of problems that have been broadcasted on social media. And so you see these underlying issues. And so when children grow up believing that their parents are their quote unquote friends, and there's no real boundaries in place, now you have a ball of confusion that snowballs into a plethora of issues that we witness on a daily basis, not just from young folks, but older people on social media. So these inadequacies, this unfulfillment, this unrest that we have, we use social media as the venting place, the place for, let me show you that I am somebody, even though I don't fully believe it, but I'm going to say, it's the lashes for me,
Yeah.
So you have all these things that plague young people. And even though I'm certainly the one to say, pull them pants up right now, and I'm not playing with you, but I'm going to quickly turn around and put my attention on the mother, the father, the grandmother, the grandfather, because those are the people who help change this climate that we're struggling to deal with.
Hop in, Demetra, hop in.
You're absolutely right. I'm at the end of that baby boomer era. And I actually remember myself saying that I was not going to raise my child the way I was raised. That ended up being a laugh from the pit of hell. Before he was one. And so what happened is that a lot of the generation that may not have been in church or involved in church as they should be. And see, I was heavily involved in church. It just wasn't something that I showed up to on a weekly basis. You know what I'm saying? I was involved in the teaching ministry. I was involved in the music ministry. I was involved in a number of areas that actually poured into me those good things that, the scripture talks about. However, you have the majority of people who did not have that type of upbringing, which is why I said sometimes we need to look at who raised these children.
Yes.
But the other problem, is the fact that it was that generation. I will admit that it was that generation, because not only did they not want to raise their children the way they were raised, number two, they stopped going to church.
Yes.
Number three, they decided that they didn't want anybody to give them any kind of instruction about anything.
Mm-hmm.
What they did do was they still held on to some of that old stuff that we were taught. You're supposed to do as I say do, not as I do. The problem with that is those children watched everything that those parents did. And so you don't think that some of those children are playing out the exact same thing that they saw their parents do to them?
Mhm. Mhm.
So basically what you're saying is the shorty that's mimicking the daddy,
That's right.
and the little girl that's mimicking the mama. So if mama had, Paul, James, and John going up to the house Monday, Wednesday, and Friday,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
can't complain about little sugar mama having Paul, James, and John showing up Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Mhm.
She heard what you said. She heard you say, don't go out there being fast doing this, that, and the third. But she was watching what you did.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Can't hear what you say for seeing what you do, huh?
Yeah.
That's right. I love that.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Anita says, speak on it. Hey, Anita, thanks for joining us, sweetie. Celeste says, that's exactly what I meant, Annette. They are unapologetic and it's definitely encouraged. Not all things are acceptable. There are already parents that aren't the greatest, as in quotes. Unfortunately, lots of boomers, Generation X, millennials, have lived through trauma. They long to do things differently.
Yes. 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 And I was actually going to say that too, because those baby boomers who did say, I won't raise my kids like this or whatever, could have certainly witnessed some horrible things that have happened in the church. And I am not the person at all to criticize the church on a public platform. That's not my calling. That's not my portion. But what I will say is you cannot ignore some of those things that transpired that should not have transpired, that were done, behaviors demonstrated by leaders, and that traumatized, as Celeste beautifully said, those baby boomers and those who may have not even been baby boomers, but even millennials and people as a whole. When you join a church or when you lower your guard and say, Lord, here I am, I'm going to submit myself to this man or this woman's teaching, and you begin to hold that close and near and dear to your heart. And when something happens, it jilts you, it shatters you, it does something to you, ultimately altering your perspective of the church as a whole, ultimately changing perhaps your perspective when it comes to God. And so now you have adages like, the world. I got better friends in the world than I do with church folks, which could in fact be true. But that trauma holds us captive and we aren't able to see the bigger picture. That's nothing short of a trick of the enemy. And if we give in to that and we leak that out onto social media, well, we're just helping to facilitate his plan.
I don't have any money to give either one of y'all, but y'all's talking tonight. Listen, let me say this, or let me ask this question. Oh God, how do I do this? All right. So we talked about basically how parents have just kind of continued on with maybe how they were taught and how they raised their children. Could some of that be attributed to ignorance? Meaning, you believe that, they're just kind of going along, Celeste said something about the different generations now wanting to do things differently. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we're on that continual cycle. Yeah, my mom and my dad did it like this. It's got to be done like this. But they did it because their mom and dad did it like that. It doesn't make it wrong or right. But I believe that I think we can kind of throw that ignorance label in there because they're just going off of what they've seen, what they've been exposed to.
Well, it's definitely ignorance because no parent leaves the hospital with a manual on how to raise their child. Now, if you're in a teaching church that is using the Bible in the way the Bible should be used, and I call it life's instruction manual. If you're using it in that manner, then you do have, some points, some form of guidance of what you should do with your children in a number of situations. However, the ignorance started, way back when unfortunately our people were not able to read. And so if we want to talk about ignorance, we've got to take it all the way back. And taking it all the way back to those days that we don't necessarily want to talk about, when we was, hearing clink, clink, clink all day and all night. You know what I'm saying? I was trying not to go there.
No, I get it. I get it.
They were raised just by hearing, what the Bible said versus reading, comprehending what the Bible said. And so a lot of that still goes on today, where there are people who are teaching based on what they heard, based on what they read and understood. And the same thing applies, within, raising children, is that, grandmama did it that way, mama did it that way, I'm going to do it that way. Now, you said it may not be right or wrong. In some cases, it is wrong. It is wrong to traumatize your children, meaning to beat them, to the point where they can barely breathe. It's wrong to beat them, to the point where they're bleeding and you need to dial 911, or you should dial 911. That part of it is wrong. It's wrong to traumatize them psychologically. You ain't ever gonna be nothing. Your daddy wasn't nothing. That's wrong. So there is some right and wrong in it. However, yes, we do need to change it, but in changing it, it goes back to the point that we lack balance in what should be changed and what shouldn't be changed. And so when you get to, the generation that we're speaking of now, they have just thrown the baby out with the bathwater. Forget it. I'm just going to do it all the way I want to do it, because ain't nothing else working.
And that's pretty much what it's come down to. And if you guys think we've gotten off, we really haven't gotten off. We're still on that first point, talking about inadequacy, about your life or appearance. So this all, is still wrapped under that particular layer. And if you're just now joining us, again, we're talking tonight about the psychology behind social media, and, just trying to address, what we see before us on a daily basis, and even more so since the last almost 2 years, I think there's been more exposure to social media because of the pandemic. We've had to, sit at home, and, people have picked up hobbies. Some probably created pages, since being at home, or reenact, what'd you say? Get your page again, reenacted your page that you had before, whatever, made it come alive. I don't know. I'm just saying, I know a lot of us have had more exposure to it. And you've had folks doing live feeds that never thought they'd do live feeds. And she didn't catch that.
I did. And Demetra did. I hope she did.
Somebody said
No, but seriously, when you think about it, you look around, because you see more and more and more. And I've even seen churches who they thought Facebook was of the devil, but they had to go on and, do something about their services, to keep their parishioners or their members engaged during this time period. So it's more and more, we have more and more exposure to it. So with that being said, we don't want to get, sucked up in it and have it to overtake us. So that's why we're having this conversation on this evening, guys. So again, just throw in your comments, your questions or whatever, hop in with us. We appreciate it. Let's see. Buddy Gill says, love will not abuse or hurt when discipling. Oh, disciplining. Oh, I'm sorry. Going back to my eyes. And children love discipline. Yeah, I agree. Hi, Jesse. Thanks for joining. We appreciate you. Demetra's is on. She says, teach, Dr. Pitts, teach. Let's see here. I hope I didn't. Oh, Dr. Wiley, I see you on. Thank you. She said necessary conversations. Yeah, so go ahead. Engage with us on tonight. Because at the end of the day, we just want to help somebody. We really do. The aids that were in place for parents have also been removed. Some people my age only received a word at school. That's from Celeste. Wow, that's something. Okay, so let's do this. Let's hop on to our next layer. Buddy Gill says, I have seen many parents miss out on countless disciplining moments with their babies, saying, oh, he or she will be fine. It's okay. And here we are today. They are entitled. Yeah. Okay. Philosopher Angie, we are enjoying you tonight too. I don't know if you guys saw your names on there. Let's move to the next one. The fear of missing out.
I did. I started to put something in the chat box, but I don't want to get distracted. For your listening audience, just so you know, I love laughing, and we laugh an awful lot offline. So I'm going to do my best to make sure we stay focused. But I'm going to say it. You're bogus. Because I'm like, I just happened to hover over Demetra's name. I'm like, I was right. She is a doctor. And I'm just like, wait a minute. She just changed that. So your name actually says on here, Dr. Demetra Williams-Pitts. Yeah, and she did it. And then on mine, she has Angie Mims, the philosopher. And so I want everybody to please, since I have the floor now, please address Annette as the ever-loved Oprah. Okay.
Yeah.
She's a phenomenal.
I'm with Angie this time. I wasn't even paying attention to that. That's all right.
No, because you're being such an awesome panelist.
Buddy Gill is laughing at y'all. I want y'all to know that.
All right. Where we going next, Oprah?
We're going to FOMO, fear of missing out. I think that was combined with anxiety.
Yes. Yeah.
You have the floor, doctor.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Oprah. You're such a gracious host. So fear of missing out is basically what it says. Basically what it means is fear. You fear, or someone fears, that they're going to miss out on something. And actually a form of anxiety. Anxiety is an emotion characterized by feeling of tension, worried thoughts, and physical changes like increased blood pressure. People with anxiety disorders usually have recurring intrusive thoughts or concerns. They may avoid certain situations out of worry. That's a quote directly from APA. When it comes to fear of missing out, as far as it's associated with social media, some of those specific things is fear of missing out on events, fear of missing out on parties, fear of missing out on things related to food, the traveling deals. Here's the big one: fear of missing out on conversations that go on in the comment section, fear of missing out on those lively live broadcasts like this one this evening that's being conducted by Oprah Annette Harris. Fear of missing out on a good time. Who doesn't want to be, who doesn't want to have a good time? But people have a fear of missing out on those things on social media. The problem is that it has caused anxiety for a number of them, which has also affected their health. Now, here are some statistics that I thought were quite interesting, because I love statistics. People with household incomes of $75,000 were more likely to experience fear of missing out. I just thought that was crazy. 56% of social media users experience fear of missing out. 56%. Facebook, followed by Instagram, are the most common contributors of fear of missing out. 39% of people who suffer from fear of missing out felt Envious.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, that was my bad. That was 39%. 30% felt jealousy. And there's a difference, although we sometimes use them interchangeably.
Yeah.
And 21% felt sad or disappointed. The most dangerous statistic is 69% of millennials experience fear of missing out, and among their peers, they purposefully try to create fear of missing out situations.
Wow.
Mhm.
What
40,
that mean? Give me an example of that.
I guess okay, maybe they pretend that there's this event that's coming up that's really not coming up, or they'll pretend they went to an event and it was hot and popping. You should have been there, and it really wasn't all that. You know what I'm saying? Scenarios. Excuse the language. And so they create these scenarios to make people feel like they missed out on something that actually didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
This happens. Okay. 40% of millennials also overspend and go into debt in order to keep up with their friends. We're back to the Joneses thing. We've been doing that since heck was a pup, as the old people would say.
Mm-hmm.
But the saddest thing is these things also happen among older adults. And the triggers are fear of not being seen as popular. When someone hasn't responded to your post or attended your live event. So an example of that would be that, say Angie said to her friend, "Oh girl, you missed that live. It was hot. You should have heard the discussion." And so now the friend is now experiencing fear of missing out. So the next time Annette goes on, Oprah, my bad, sorry. The next time she goes on, the girlfriend is going to make sure she the first one in the comment section because she wants to be at the live event that Oprah is putting on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
These are adults, okay? Fear of
Right.
excluded from social groups. The clique, the same thing that's been going on in church since forever. The same thing that's been going on jobs forever. It's the clique thing. What do you mean I'm not invited to the girls' club, whatever the girls' club is? Again, it sets up fear of missing out. How does that happen? Somebody will invite Angie to the girls' club event, but they won't invite me or they won't invite Annette. So now that person has this fear of missing out on being a part of the girls' club. But it's a psychological thing because, see, if you're mature, you should understand that there are some places you don't need to be anyway. But that's for the mature.
For the mature.
For the mature. And so fear of inciting negative reactions. This one I thought was really critical because there are people who will like your comments, they will like your posts. But not only are they lying to you, they're lying to themselves. They know they didn't like it. But because you are perceived as popular.
That's it, Reverend.
They feel that they need to say something in agreement with what it is that you said versus being authentic and telling the truth and speaking what it is that you want to speak about that particular subject. And so this thing is huge.
Yeah.
And you know what, to your point, not to interrupt you,
I'm done.
sometimes I will peruse on purpose people who don't have a lot of likes or seeming support, because I have found, this is just me, but I found what stimulates me mentally is not what is regularly broadcasted on social media. I'm on social media for two reasons: for business and to network, of course. And then two, I can say I have a good chunk of people in my friends list that I know is going to say or post something that's going to cause me to think. You know, I mean, now if you happen to post something where you look beautiful in a dress, and I know you smart, love. Love.
But see, Angie, I have to throw this in there. You're of a different breed, my dear.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You need to be intellectually stimulated.
Yeah, I have to be.
That's not the majority of people that's on social media, though.
But I wouldn't even, I mean, you're probably right. And thank you for that. But I just think that some people just truly grapple with self-esteem issues. And like Demetra very beautifully stated, you know, they don't even like you. They don't even really care for what it is that you posted. But because you got 100 plus likes, I need to be in a number.
Can I throw this in here also? It's not only that, and that was a very good point, where the fear of missing out, if they don't do it with the popular people, you know, so social media is just something different now, you know, and I'm glad you brought up about the cliques in the church, D, you know, even the cliques at school, you know, you have the, you know, affluent, you know, people over here, and then those who didn't live in such affluent neighborhoods in school. But anyway, but it's not only the fact that they think that you're popular and they want to hop in, they don't want to miss out, but they're also thinking, I need to show a reaction to your post so nobody won't think that I don't like you.
Yep. Or the flip side of that too is, I won't like your post, but I'll send you an inbox or a text message to say that I enjoyed what you posted. That I abhor and loathe. I will call people out on that in a minute. Don't do that.
Yeah, you will. She'll do that. Not that I've done that to her, but I know her character. Yeah, you know what? And there's nothing wrong with that either. That's how you want them basically. If you could come into my inbox, how come you couldn't let everybody else see what you said?
Right. And if you really liked it or loved it or appreciated it, then what is wrong with doing it at the place that I posted, whatever it was that I posted? Oh, I loathe that. I loathe that with a passion, because there's a meme circulating where it says that people can't support you publicly because of how they talked about you, but they rather show their support privately. And I don't like that. And so to your point in regards to, you know, the feeling of missing out, there are serious and deep issues within ourselves. And it's not, you're not using a rubric that is God's rubric, right? This is a rubric that we've almost been bullied into. This is what society says is popular. This is how you must dress. I can't tell you how many times I've seen church members who have shouted and praised something terrible, saying something wonderful. And then within 24 hours, I'm gonna say it. Within 24 hours, you posted up at the club. And so how is it that now I'm not condemning anybody. I'm not in a position to do that. I'm not, you know, because I would share one or two of my sins, okay? But at the end of the day, at what point do you say, I want to represent God even in my sin?
We
At what point do we say, you know, I don't have to have all of these likes. I don't have to reveal all my cleavage. I don't have to have my clothes so tight that you literally can see when I inhale and exhale. You should not be able to see a person's lungs.
No.
So
the water.
I'm just saying, I mean, this is a wonderful topic, and I just feel really passionate about it. And I just wish, and this topic is more so a lot of my statements, because I love our women, we are game changers, but some of the things that we post on social media, and I'm talking primarily to single folks too, the things that we post to get attention. did you eat some oatmeal this morning? What is it? What was in the what?
Well, wait a minute. That's not only single folks doing that.
That's true.
But
Yeah.
I know you're talking because of your position. I can
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it don't matter. All kind of folks are looking for attention. There's a question on the floor here.
Okay.
So social media makes one feel relevant. That's from Kendrick. I call him Bishop. How are you? Thanks for joining us. That's his question. So social media makes one feel relevant. Does anybody want to answer that?
Actually, that would be a good segue into another section, because in some cases it does. It works towards some people's self-worth. It works to boost some people's low self-esteem. So the answer to the question is, for some people, it's perceived that way. Yes. Now, is that true? No, but that's the way they perceive it.
Perceived it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was answering his own question, but here's a comment from him. He says, social media revealed a lot of narcissistic behaviors that have gone unaddressed.
All of it.
Who is that? That is powerful. That's Mr. Kendrick Harris.
Yes. Yes. You know,
And I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. There are people who literally take 8-9 selfies a day. You know, I'm sitting eating breakfast. I've gone to the toilet. I was sitting out here at the post office, and lo and behold, saw 2 mailmen walk in the post office. Wow. And then, but here's the other flip part of that. So you have your commenters and your posters, right? But then you have people who don't say anything. On it all day long. I've had couples in my home, or I'll say one person of the couple in my home, who have cried their eyes out because right after they've been intimate with their significant other, their spouse, the other person will reach for their phone and get on social media. Now, you just had an orgasmic experience, I'm hoping, you know. So
you hope, unless that was fake too. That could have been fake.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe that's why. But anyway.
Maybe they did it. But still, you know, a significant amount of
an
time.
adult segment on tonight, guys. No, go ahead.
I've seen it, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah,
they got done being intimate with you, grabbed their phone, and immediately logged onto Facebook and began to scroll and peruse.
That's something else.
Yeah,
it could be. This couple was in a committed relationship, definitely in a committed relationship, engaged and everything, but that immature mindset. And these are not like people that are in their 20s and 30s. These are people who are in their playing peekaboo with 50. So it is not, it's not restricted to just young people.
No, not at all. That could also go back to that narcissistic comment.
Yes.
Well as that could go to something else going on, although they may be in a committed relationship. That doesn't mean he doesn't have a wandering finger.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm just saying, you know, they're not married yet, so he still feels like he's still single. God only knows. You know what I'm saying? The other thing could mean that he just has an addiction. Is he really media, or is he looking at porn? I don't know what he's doing. The point is, obviously, that event that occurred not enough to put him to sleep the way the average man typically does, that I know about. I'll put it that way, to where he needs to pick up his phone. And no, there's something there.
I think it's a combination of a couple of things. You guys have said it. I'll add in this. The first thing that came to my mind was there's no respect there. There's no respect for themselves and that partner. to pick up your phone after having
Mhm.
you don't have respect. And then I think it's also,
That's
we
right.
can also lay this on it as well. You said it, an addiction. I honestly think that we are really addicted to the social media.
Yes.
So it's almost
Yes.
like it's
Yes.
like it's like second hand, or you know, like what they said when most people wake up in the morning, they're reaching for their phones, trying to see what they
Oh,
missed
yep.
through the night,
Mhm.
you know, and it can happen. Oh, trust me, ask me how I know, you know, but I had to train myself like, no, baby girl, God is waiting on you. He woke you up, so he waiting on you. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give you my time, Jesus. You've been waiting on me. You was sitting there watching over me all night.
All night.
When she get up, I want to talk to her. I want her to talk to me.
Right.
So I'm gonna give you my time.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna pick up and, oh, what did they look at my post from last week? Did
Mhm.
they? Oh, they post? No.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's sad.
No. So you almost have to, because it can become an addiction, you almost have to retrain yourself. Because it is definitely easy to slip into it. Now, I'm not on here, and I'm sure my guests are not as well. We're not on here condemning folks. We're not on here tearing anybody down about social media and your use of social media, you know, because we've experienced some things ourselves. You know, but we're having this conversation so that we can hopefully help ourselves, help you, you know, more or less, and how to actually deal with this, again, as I stated earlier, so we won't be consumed by it and it won't overtake us.
Mhm.
So you guys have said a mouthful. Y'all throwing, Dr. Joyce, I love you. Thank you for joining in. Brandy says, doing it immediately after sex sounds intentionally hurtful
Yes.
and narcissistic.
Mhm.
Otherwise, that's a serious addiction that needs to be addressed before they hit those sheets again. Yeah.
Well, I think it's more so of an addiction. I think that sometimes people, I'll venture to say this, people don't always mean to hurt their counterparts or whatever. But because that addiction is there, because there's an issue within that has not been properly addressed and or resolved, these are the fruits of that thing.
Come on.
So when you are grappling with insecurity or uncontrolled insecurity, when you're grappling with the intense need to be validated because of perhaps some childhood traumas, when you are experiencing this desire that is so intense to always be plugged in, that is an internal problem that needs to be addressed. And this is why the Bible instructs us to pray always and to stay with the Holy Spirit, because he's the one that will guide us and correct us and chastise us when we've gotten away from his will. I don't believe it is his will for us to be addicted to social media to the point where when I go on fast, if somebody or a group of people, we partner and we decide to fast and everybody's gung-ho, one of the top criteria if I have to spearhead a fast is you need to refrain from social media unless it is specifically for business purposes. And one individual just like, what? Now here it is, we're going to be praying for God to provide a breakthrough, a miracle, right? This is something that only a supernatural God can do. And we believe this, right? And so we're like, yeah. Okay, so we're not going to do social media. Hold on, wait a minute. That ain't biblical. Anything that comes before God is considered an idol, sister. Brother.
They love to throw that in. We love to throw that. That ain't in the Bible.
Right. But this is something that I've seen where people truly need God. They need him to intervene like never before. And the Bible tells us this kind comes out only by fasting and praying. And for a short spell, even Jesus said, you can't watch with me just for a little while. You can't get off of social media just for a little while. You can't disconnect just for a little while so that I can impart into you, because all it is internal clutter. You have an emotional inferno going on, and you're not able to see just how damaging this fire is to your life.
Okay, give her all the money, y'all. Listen.
But
You have just said a word there, which is, I mean, oh my God, that is just so true. One thing I want to say about Angie, she ain't just talking off the top of her head when it comes to fasting. When it comes to fasting, Angie is serious. She is serious.
Probably can't tell the night I've been eating chicken, but I do.
Okay. But when she is looking for an answer from the Lord, that girl, she will go. And she will tell us, I can't talk for this amount of time because I'm fasting. Okay. And I respect that. So, I can understand, pushing aside, the plate, turning over your plate or whatever you want to do so you can fast and intercede. And I think that if you get a person that say, oh, no, I don't want to turn away my social media, that is, to me, indicative of an addiction. It really is. When you feel that you can't do without it for so long or whatever. Celeste says here, we are definitely addicted. It doesn't help that I run some businesses remotely. We've now been given leniency for being on the phone so much if we have businesses. Ooh. We're told posting is the consistency we need to succeed. She in my notes, in which I know I can't get to tonight, but that is so true. Yep. Posting, consistently, making sure that you're in their faces, basically, if you want to say it in layman's terms, because if you don't post, then they're not necessarily going to remember you, if you will. People's attention spans are not necessarily that great. So, they do, because there are some steps they do encourage you, how to get, how to be seen basically on social media. Yep. So I hear you. And we got to find that balance. We have to find that balance.
I like what Buddy said. He says, I fail to understand how we can give so much energy, time, and power to something that does not return the same to ourselves. To spend so much time trying to keep up with folks who haven't bothered to call you to say hello or checking on you, shaking my head. Addicted to what? Just the short thrill, buddy, of being seen, the short-lived thrill of being affirmed, the short thrill of feeling like you belong to something, belong to a group of people, belong to a family unit. This is a very passionate topic for me. I'm going to close my mouth because I could talk about this all night.
This is good. I knew, ladies, we weren't even going to get, what time it is? It's almost that time. You can't believe it, can you? Because I can't either. But I'm gonna tell you something. That is, you said a mouthful there. Because when you look at, buddy, people almost like they put up a front when you get to social media. Like you mentioned, they don't even bother to call you, outside of social media, or check on you. Addicted to what? I wanted to throw this in here because Pitts and I, on my podcast, we kind of chatted about this a little bit in terms of from the top on down, what they want to make sure that you do. It's almost like they want you to be addicted. I'm not going to call no names because I want him to pull my live feed down. But when they set up these apps, when they set up these, the social media, they have an agenda. So exactly. So then in comes, they're playing off of the dopamine, all that, trying to make sure that, your interest and everything is intrigued. Oh, I know what she likes. You know what I've been noticing lately, ladies, on Facebook? I don't know if you see it or not. It'll say an alert will come up. Angie Mims has created a story. What's your reaction to it?
Yes, I have.
Have y'all seen that? I just threw my glasses down. Have y'all seen that?
I've not seen it yet. Or maybe I saw it and didn't pay attention.
Like, what?
It's usually like the first thing it's really weird. It's kind of odd because it's like the first thing that'll pop up, like when you first sign on.
And it asks you specifically, what's your reaction?
Well, no, it asks you, have you seen what that person has posted?
And it also says, what's your reaction? I've seen that. I meant to do a screenshot.
See, I don't read it all because I'm like, you know what? Don't tell me what to look at. Okay.
I'm like, how you gonna tell me? I mean, how you know what I'm saying?
Well,
I don't want nobody telling me what to do, but I guess they are telling me what to do.
Yeah.
Well, I think that there are algorithms that are a huge contributing factor to, after they've assessed whose page we are likely to comment and or respond or react to.
Yeah.
And, they've certainly designed it to a point where they know that people will be addicted to it. Because Bishop Jake said something a while ago, if you ever want to secure a person's attention, talk to them about them.
Come on.
And if we have people who are posting things to continuously try to pull out a reaction, as you used earlier, and they get reactions, the algorithm in their mind says, see, you got 50 on here and 20 on here, keep doing it.
Yeah.
And so Mark Zuckerberg and oh boy, you said we're not supposed to. Okay. These secular intellects have studied people enough to know that they're the decision makers amongst a group of people who truly suffer and grapple with esteem issues. And that is how we become addicted to social media.
Yep. Yeah.
We're not the only ones that are addicted, and I want to kind of jump back to what Buddy said.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Another statistic that I found to be quite interesting is that 53% of Americans had no close friends. No close friends.
Honey.
Outside of their family.
Honey. Is that from the American Psychological Association as well?
That's not from APA, but there is something from APA that says 22% of Americans say it has been at least 5 years since they've made a new friend.
See?
So what are we doing?
Oh my God.
What are we doing?
And
what's wrong?
I don't know. She's making me think.
I'm sorry.
No, that's good. That's good because it brings you back to reality.
It does. It should. It should. I mean, I don't know. And I think we were supposed to cover cyberbullying too.
It's a lot.
Cyberbullying.
We only got to the first 3, if that.
I think we only got to the first 3.
I didn't even do anything about depression or the pressure of becoming famous. Yeah, cyberbullying and self-absorption. It's so much.
Brandy has a hilarious comment. She says, washing between your toes isn't in the Bible either. Does that mean you won't do it?
Exactly. Exactly. It's almost you're gonna pull out the Bible to be a handicap for you.
Yeah.
And when you need it.
Right.
Brandy says here, watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix. Yep, that's a good one, guys.
Okay.
Top FB execs have blown the whistle and broke it down scientifically. Each intentional step they take to make Facebook so addictive. I was horrified. Wow.
You see,
Yeah.
So here it is. Your audience member has actually witnessed an actual Netflix special.
Yep. Yeah, you guys need to check that out.
Pointed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Setting us up, trying to set us up.
yeah, oh yes, it's a big setup. A lot of the studies and stuff that and statistics, it'll tell you they purposely do it like that. That's why I was bringing up about that little alert that I get. What's your reaction? Because they're trying to, and then that's probably why they have so many different emoticons now. Remember, they added the care button.
Yeah.
They had the love button, the thumbs up. That wasn't enough. Then they start adding more reactions. Because they want to get your reaction.
The more we are involved, the more information they can glean from our interactions.
Yes.
So if I'm interacting with Angie, but then I go and interact with somebody that's 25 years old, I just threw off their algorithm.
Yeah.
That many years off now.
Well, I mean, I interact with a diverse group of people.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Every now and then I'll get, because it's related. It's always related to money.
That's right.
Every now and then I'll get like a posting for some kind of what I want to call it. I don't want to call it that. Urban wear. That's what I'll call it. I'm not urban wear. I mean, I might at home, but I'm not going out. I'm not going to buy any urban wear, whatever it is that usually happens after I've had a conversation with someone in that generation.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, I also have conversations with people that go in the other direction. And so then I'll get other ads that's talking about other things that seniors deal with. Now you're insulting me, okay? Seniors. People in their twilight years, so to speak. So yeah, but for them, it's all about money. That's what it's about. If I can lead you here and lead you there, something eventually is going to grab you and you're going to buy something. One more shit, man, I'm going to scream.
Yeah, and they know. I was just looking at an outfit on a totally different website. And of course, it appeared down my timeline like the next day.
Yeah.
Ain't got nothing to do with Facebook.
Yes.
Get out of my business. Oh. Listen. Go ahead.
But they're setting us up. And I just wish that we would realize that, I don't think anything is wrong with utilizing social media. If you have a real true purpose for it. Are you on it to uplift and encourage? Are you on it to make people think? When I really want to think late at night, I can always go to Demetra's page. Every time. She's going to post something that's going to make you think. Even if you don't like it, it's not your average, garbage. It's not
right.
Garbage. And so I'm very grateful for that. And so we have to ask ourselves, why am I on social media? I think Buddy asked a pivotal question, earlier in regards to, what did he ask? What are you addicted to?
Yeah.
That's why the Bible says, examine yourself. Look at yourself. That's in Galatians. Examine yourself. Look at yourself. Be honest with yourself. What void is there? Where did that void come from? How long has that void been there? And then evaluate. If I know that I spend 6 to 9 hours on social media perusing, what am I trying to escape?
Come on.
Can you imagine calculating how many times, even if it's not consistently, but just how many times we have popped open our Facebook app or our Instagram app, and if you calculate all those minutes together at the end of the day, how many of those hours could be dedicated towards either building your own business, towards actually making a difference in the kingdom of God, towards an actual prayer service. I'm Baptist, but I got some Kojic and Pentecostal and Muslim in me. So yeah, and Muslim. And much respect to the Nation of Islam. But anyway, but how much of that time could be utilized in doing something so much more constructive? How much time could be used and from us actually spending time with our children?
How about that?
Quality time with our significant other.
How about that?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it should make us think. It should make us think. And you're saying it, Pastor Man. You saying it. Listen, I want it.
It's a wrap.
Let me read a couple of these comments before we get out of here. Buddy says, Facebook has succeeded in finding a void in society and fulfilling it.
Yes.
He said, that's the formula for success.
Absolutely.
I see you, cousin Jamone. You jumped in on us. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming in tonight. There was something else. Oh, Buddy says, oh, law, not the Baptist sister. She can get a prayer through. Listen, I do want to encourage you that are watching. Again, as we stated, we really couldn't get to all the layers that we discussed on tonight. So hopefully there was something said that that resonated with you. You kind of understood. But I think that I did mention earlier about us finding a balance with social media. And Angie, you did just mention it again. You can find some good, basically. I'm paraphrasing what you just said, with social media. So in finding that balance, maybe we can kind of limit our time, and I know a lot of us on here say that we're doing it for business, but maybe we could just make sure we have those time frames set for that, so that, again, we won't become overwhelmed. There were some suggestions that I saw, I don't know if anybody can do this or not. Limit your social media time to 30 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna happen.
They said that can improve your well-being. And we have to think about it. I think somebody mentioned something about your body or getting sick or something. Who said that earlier tonight?
Me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Smart.
Right. Because you have to, you have to think about it in that respect. I mean, when you mention about that couple, and
it's the truth.
Yeah. And it happens more often than we think.
Right.
That wasn't an isolated incident.
It's not. She was just so hurt by it that she, felt comfortable enough to expose her bedroom challenges.
Right. Yeah.
Also,
maybe we can find some downtime. I know for myself, over the weekend, I don't get on as much. I try not to, it's like, whether I'm busy or not, or where I'm just saying, okay, I need a day. I need a day or two to kind of just like, now I may see a little something, but I'm putting it down.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't totally gone away. Some people take breaks from Facebook. They'll shut their pages down. I get that. And I applaud you for that. Mm-hmm. I honestly believe that if I did not have my radio show, I probably wouldn't be on here. That's just me. Mm-hmm. I probably would not be. It took about a whole year for me to even engage on Facebook. It was a page set up.
Yep. Sure did.
It was a whole year before I even did anything. Wow. And it wasn't until I started my show, it was when I started engaging on Facebook. Yeah, I had people talk about me or whatever, but hey, I don't know. But maybe we can do that. Maybe we can kind of limit our time. You have to find what's best for you. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of encouraging all of us that are on here, maybe setting our phones on D&D every once in a while. When I get up in the morning now, and I'm training myself. When I get up in the morning and I'm having that time, I literally have an alarm on my phone that says my time with God.
Wow.
In the morning.
I love that.
And I'm like, I don't want anything else interfering. So I will leave out of my bedroom. I will leave my devices there, and I will go to I'll go in my office. It's my little personal place there to have my time with the Lord, because I don't want to be distracted by my phone, my iPad, or whatever. You know, I want to, and I think that we have to do that. I mean, it's good for our mental health.
Yes.
You know, so I mean, I don't know if there's anything else you all want to throw in there to encourage, you know, people as well.
Go ahead, Angie.
No, go ahead, Dr. Pitts. I want to hear from you.
As we're talking about all of these things, you know, everything starts in the mind.
My motto.
That's number one. It does.
Oh, yeah.
And mind kind of extends into, you know, your mental, your physical, your spiritual. They're all connected. If we don't get the mind in order, everything else is going to automatically just fall apart. And so one of the scriptures that always pops up in my mind, I believe is Romans 12:2. Be not conformed
to this world
by the renewing of your what?
Mind.
If you don't renew your mind,
yes,
set aside that stuff that is trying to conform you, because that's what social media is trying to conform you into what they want you to be.
I'm gonna break out into Dr. Watts. Go ahead.
Time on, you know, think on these things. That's what's going to transform your mind. And so until we get to a place where we understand that the mind is, you know, the pinnacle of what we do with the rest of our lives.
Yes.
You don't get that thing under control, nothing is going to be under control.
Yes.
And so that was all I had to say. That's it.
Good. That's good.
May the Lord watch.
Come on, philosopher. Wrap us up. What you got?
I mean, I want to acknowledge your wonderful audience, from Celeste and Buddy to Brandy to Kendrick to, I know I'm missing a couple people, and I'm so sorry, Miss Trina. All of them have been able to put in some really insightful comments. And so thank you all for sharing your thoughts. I love reading comments and hearing from the audience, because I like to try to get, you know, a holistic perspective, but
that intellectual side.
I just want to say that I would encourage people to really take a step back. And I don't know if this is going to fall on deaf ears or not, but I hope it doesn't. I cannot re-emphasize how significant of a difference it will make once you decide to quiet the mental clutter in your mind, so that you are able to secure sincere and authentic intimacy with God. If there is a void in your life, which more than likely there is, if we seek God, we won't have to be addicted to social media. We won't have to post things in hopes to conjure up this immense reaction from audiences. When we spend time with God, when we spend time with people in those close-knit circles, you'll discover that not only does somebody genuinely care for you, and it's not just a like or a love off of social media, but they'll actually may even hold your hand as you try to travel this void on the inside. I believe in divine connections. If you took a step back and say, God, I don't even understand all of this. I don't even know how to, I don't even know where to begin to resolve this. But if you come into my life and show me what is it I need to do, what behaviors I need to change, how my mind needs to be different, not only will he say, I'll speak to you, but I'll send you somebody to help you along the way that you can lay your eyes on and say, my God, he cares enough about me that I don't have to get my validation from social media.
Yes.
I told both of y'all I didn't have any money for you tonight. Didn't I say that?
Yes.
Let me tell you something, Pitts.
Yes, ma'am.
Brandy said,
Brandy said.
I got to read what I get. Where did she go?
Brandy
She said, can somebody tell Dr. Demetra Williams-Pitts it's too early in the week for the Sunday pulpit word.
Jesus, love you, Brandy.
Yeah. I know it. It's only Tuesday, right? It ain't even hump day yet.
Oh, okay.
Let me put
Buddy-
Dr. Pitts Cashapp up here.
Right. Buddy,
Don't-
Buddy says here, I watch these couples who are out together on dates and they're not into each other. They're into their phones. Ooh, we're in church and folks in their phones. Social media has won.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah. When you get done singing and la, when you get done with all that, and now it's time for the sermon, you done
You're
got
picking up your phone. And you're not picking it up to read that Bible on that phone.
No,
If it's on there.
no. I'm telling you, I could talk on this all day.
Okay.
I know I'm supposed to be into this. I'm going to read your comments before we go. Celeste says, leave the phone in your purse when out to dinner or in a basket when having dinner at home. Ooh. It is almost cringe-worthy, the amount of time spent on smartphones while sitting at the dinner table or at a restaurant.
Yes.
Which reminded me of this one, it wasn't a movie. It was like a documentary type of how, and I don't know, I can't remember the name of it, so I don't know if it was Social Dilemma. It might've been something else, but they were telling us how, these creators of Facebook and the creators of, Twitter and all this, why they created it and how they got your attention. And they had this one subject, this young male, I think it was in high school or something like that. And they would follow him around and they would make sure to throw out these alerts to make sure he would pick up his phone and react to things. Yeah. And he was challenged by his mother to not use his phone for, I think maybe like a month. And she was going to buy him a car. Well, he put it in a little box at home. And they kept sending out alerts. Something's wrong with Johnny. I'm just saying the name. Something's wrong with Johnny because Johnny's not responding to this. This is the, behind the scenes, the creators of it, right? And then after a while, he just gave in. He went and got that phone. And so not to you, obviously he didn't get the car, but like Buddy said, social media won. Social media won.
That's it.
Oh man, I sure wish we could. That is a social dilemma. Okay. All right. Thank you, Brand. Like I said, I couldn't remember what the name of it was. I just knew it caught my attention and I was like, wow, they got us. They got us. All right. We're going to get out of here. Beatrice, I see you jumped in. I'm going to have to go back and rewind because she did her Facebook Live tonight. So I'm going to have to go back and rewind to listen to it. I want to thank you guys again. I did see my niece Trina. You came in. Thank you, my sweet, for coming in. I appreciate you for your support. All of you that have jumped in on this special segment, special time. There's just not enough time to talk about this. This is a heavy topic. I don't know if I can corral my sister friends again, so we can do another version. We'll see what their time frame will entail, and then maybe we can. But again,
that
go ahead.
I'll have to do that after your Joe Biden interview. I think that's Friday or something. Oprah, right? Is that?
No.
Is that it, Demetra? I thought she had to interview Joe Biden. I don't know when she'll have time for us again.
Who knows?
Very rarely will you have me at a loss for words.
So I was just, we'll just wait. We'll wait.
Play my jingle because this girl's gonna get me in trouble. You guys, thank you again for your time on tonight, ladies, for everything.
Get caught in a net.
Bye.
Bye,
Body and soul gets caught in a net.
that girl. I love her. I love me some her.
It's your intellectual radio show, here to inspire you and encourage you to be your very best. Get caught in a net with ANet.
All right, guys. Thank you again so much for your time on tonight. I don't, again, take it for granted. I appreciate each and every one of you for joining me. Again, I thank my guests for coming in. It was hot. It was hot. It was hot. But I always tell you at the end of every broadcast when I come on, I want you guys to be safe. Wash your hands, wear your mask, do your physical distancing. If you're in public, and please wear your mask, whether you're vaccinated or not. I just encourage you. We want everybody to be healthy. And again, thank you all so much on here, my viewers, supporters. I'm going to upload this to YouTube at the end. So you guys take care, okay? And peace. Go to my website, GetcaughtinANetRadio.com. Take care.